Next on Insider TV, the coaching carousel is spinning. Which Alabama assistants are being mentioned for positions at other schools? Plus, Rodney Orr will hit the recruiting trail. Where does the Tide stand with several top prospects, including that one, Isaiah Crowell? We'll let you know. It's all next, and it's all right here on Insider TV.
Go inside the Crimson Tide. Tider Insider TV with Rodney Orr and Gary Harris.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome into Tider Insider TV alongside Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com. I'm Gary Harris. Our producer is John Huddleston. Our director is Jonathan Newman, and our sponsor is Buffalo Rock. TITV presented by Buffalo Rock, and tonight, Diet Pepsi is what we're going to be enjoying. I'm going to go ahead and have a swig right now because my voice is a little hoarse from this weather. That'll fix me right up.
Should.
All right, let's go. Just a short while ago, the University of Florida officially introduced their new head football coach, Will Muschamp. The former Texas coach in waiting is, of course, a close personal friend of Nick Saban and worked under him at both LSU and Miami. He's also a close friend of Alabama defensive coordinator Kirby Smart. And because of that, speculation started almost immediately that Muschamp would target Smart for his staff. Reports out of Gainesville have indicated that if Smart wants the job, it's his. But Rodney, I will say the same thing I said last year when Georgia came after Kirby Smart. Why leave?
Yep, I agree.
Why leave
with,
for
I
the
agree
same
with
position in another SEC school?
Yeah, especially when Kirby Smart is a rising prospect in terms of a head coach. Why would you want to leave a stable situation? And again, you know, you look at Florida, Will Muschamp's never been a head coach. And I didn't see his press conference, Gary. There's been some talk that Will Muschamp may even want to be his own defensive coordinator. And again, you know, I don't know what direction he'll go, but I don't see the benefit in Kirby Smart moving to that position. Within a year or two, he could be a head coach.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. If anything, it would almost set him back in that goal. Like you said, he stays in a stable situation with a team that in a disappointing year won 9 games. Next year, Alabama figures to be right back in the hunt for the national championship. I just don't see any reason for it. But at the same time, as a coach, you always explore every option when one is presented to you, and I'm sure that is all that he is doing. But whether Muschamp makes a decision to be his own defensive coordinator or not, I think Kirby Smart stays at Alabama.
Yeah, I think so too, and I know you're going to mention Bo Davis, and both those guys have great relationships with Will Muschamp in the past. Gary, they've worked together, so, and again, they've all tutelaged under Saban, so again, I think there's a natural fit there.
Yeah, Bo Davis might be a more likely candidate to leave, and only because of this reason. As a defensive line coach, he's done a good job at Alabama, but you never know. He might be Muschamp, if he really wants, he might be able to offer him a little bit of extra icing on top, maybe a assistant head coach position or something like that, possibly maybe some more duties in terms of coordinating the defense. You just don't know, but it might be a more plausible option for Davis than for Smart, and also more opportunity for Davis to get a pay raise based on what he makes now as opposed to what Smart makes.
I mean, it could be. I would say, Gary, probably within the last 24, 48 hours, Bo Davis has not been contacted by Florida. So, you know, if he does, that's certainly an opportunity that I'm sure he would consider. But let's also look at how long he's been with Nick Saban. He's been with him, you know, through his days at LSU, and you know, again, they could happen, but right now I would say I don't think so.
And let's also look at the fact that, of course, you never know until they get here, but based on recruiting rankings, he's got a couple of studs coming on that defensive front for next year in Dial and Williams.
Yes, he does, certainly. And he's done an outstanding job with the defensive line. I know a lot of people were disappointed with the performance of Marcel Darius, who, again, was kind of injured and had the suspension early in the season. And maybe some of the other guys didn't quite develop. But, again, a lot of those guys, Damian Square and some of the other guys, very, very young. And as they develop, I think you're going to see them be an outstanding defensive front. And you mentioned the new guys coming in like Jesse Williams and Quentin Dial. And, you know, again, Bo Davis has done a great job, not only with that defensive line, but also recruiting a lot of those guys.
Well, 'tis the season. We're all getting ready for Christmas, but in the coaching business, this is the time when the rumor mill is running. Coaches are looking to make moves, so we don't stop yet as far as that's concerned. You know, former Alabama offensive coordinator and current Texas assistant Major Applewhite was also rumored possibly to be going to Gainesville to be the offensive coordinator under Muschamp. Of course, they worked together at Texas. But late last night, the Gainesville Sun reported that Applewhite has decided to remain in Austin, where it looks like he'll have a very good opportunity to be the offensive coordinator. And that affects Jim McElwain, because he had been rumored as a possibility to take over for Greg Davis in Austin. And now, if if Applewhite stays, certainly you would expect him to stay unless he's going to be bumped up to offensive coordinator. And where does that leave McElwain? I guess in Alabama.
You know, to be honest with you, all this talk about Jim McElwain going to Texas anyway, I thought it was premature, very premature, because one thing you have to look at, Greg Davis in 10 years at Texas, they averaged 10 wins plus a year. I mean, he gets fired after one bad year. Why would Jim McElwain want to jump into that situation when, again, you're talking about a guy who very quickly could become a head coach?
All right. So far, of the three names that we've mentioned, you're pretty confident they're all staying at Alabama. Now, in this case, if Curt Cignetti, receivers coach, gets the offer, he is going to be leaving. He is a candidate for the head job at Kent State. His boss's alma mater, Nick Saban, played there, started his coaching career at Kent State, and it looks like, because of his close friendship with Coach Cignetti and the Cignetti family, that he's actually helping Coach Cignetti in an effort to get this head job, which would be obviously a bump to his career.
Oh, no question. I think it'd be a great move for him, and I think, Gary, a lot of people think he's one of the two finalists for that job, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. He's, done an excellent job as a recruiter.
And, of course, we will continue to follow the coaching news at the University of Alabama. If anything breaks, we'll have it covered for you here on WVUA TV. And, of course, Ronnie will have it for you on TiderInsider.com as news breaks in regards to Bama coaches, if they leave or if new ones come in. All right, last year Alabama set a record with 6 first-team Associated Press All-Americans. We may not see that again for a long time, may not ever see it again, period, but not quite as battleful for the Tide this year, but nonetheless, 2 second-team selections, 2 third-team selections. Julio Jones had a tremendous year. I mean, this guy played tough football, made big catches, made clutch catches, scored a touchdown by running the ball. I really thought if they just kept going to him against Auburn, the Tigers might not have been able to come back. He's a second-team selection, as is Mark Barron, who moves up from third team a year ago, so he's already a 2-time AP All-American as a junior. On the third team, Barrett Jones, who was freshman All-American last year, makes it as an offensive guard. And Marcel Darius, many people felt like he didn't have a great season, but he's still a third-team All-American. 4 pretty good football players, 4 future NFL football players out there, in my opinion.
Probably not fair to Marcel Darius, really, but a lot of people, what they expected of him is kind of what Nick Fairley did this year at Auburn, to be quite honest with you. And again, he makes third-team All-American, and people say, well, he underachieved. And, but you think back to, Gary, that suspension before the season and how much impact that had. And, again, he was nagged with injuries. So, again, he still had a pretty good year.
Yeah, Fairley, by the way, was first-team All-American for Auburn. Well, still to come on TITV, we'll hit the recruiting trail. Which school in Columbus, Georgia? Well, we know the school. Which school is Isaiah Crowell leaning towards? We'll have some news there. Also ahead, he signed with Auburn out of high school. But after 2 seasons in the junior college ranks, his local product, Isaiah Lanier, formerly of Gordo High School, now seeing crimson in his future. We'll break it down for you. We'll also get to your phone calls and answer your email questions. So write down the information right there and go ahead and give us a call now. That's the best way to get through. Put you on hold, and then we'll talk to you soon. TITV will return right after this. More TITV in just a moment, but first, I want to talk to you about Nuke's Express Cafe, 205 University Boulevard East in Tuscaloosa, basically located on the University of Alabama campus, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Everything is terrific, whether it's an oven-toasted sandwich, a California-style pizza, a hand-tossed salad, or a fresh homemade soup. Everything is made with fresh ingredients right there on the premises. You walk in, you order, they give you a number, you sit down, they bring their food right out to you. Terrific sweetened iced tea, or unsweetened if you prefer. A beer and wine menu as well. Call for all your holiday catering needs at 758-2455. Don't forget their great dessert menu featuring cakes, brownies, and Rice Krispie treats. All right, let's talk basketball. Alabama junior JaMychal Green returned to the Tide on Saturday. He had been serving a suspension for what head coach Anthony Grant deemed conduct detrimental to the team. When asked, Green wouldn't go into specifics, but he did say he learned a lesson.
I guess I wasn't doing what I was supposed to at the time, and now I am. Like I said, it was a humbling experience, and I'm just ready to just continue to play. Me and Coach Grant we got a lot out, put a lot on the tape, and I feel like we do see out now, and I feel like Coach Grant has the best interest for me, and he's trying to help me out.
And in his comeback game against Providence, JaMychal played well. He didn't start, but he scored 15 points, had 11 rebounds. Still, Alabama lost 82-70. He dropped to 4-5 on the season, which is not where you want to be with the whole conference schedule still ahead of you. Nonetheless, Rodney, I do think it's important. Coach Grant is trying to build something here, and he's not willing to risk the long term to try to gain some short-term victories. And what I mean by that is, if you're willing to sit arguably your best player for disciplinary reasons or for conduct not positive going forward for the team, then that sends a message to everybody. Hey, if he'll sit JaMychal Green, he'll sure as heck sit me. I think it's a good thing, and I think discipline's being established on this basketball team, and I still think they're going to get better as the season goes along.
Well, the one thing you can't do, you cannot compromise, Gary,
Right.
and certainly Anthony Grant has shown that he will not do that.
Well, Alabama has a game tomorrow night against Southeastern Louisiana, 8 p.m. tip to Coleman Coliseum. They need to win that game to get back to 5-5 on the season. Well, coming up, Rodney has your recruiting report. That's always something I know you look forward to. Plus, we'll get to your phone calls and your email questions. We got lines open right now at 205-348-WVUA. That's 348-9882. Or you can email us, TITV@WVUATV.com. Lines are open, so if you've been wanting to get through to the program, ask Rodney a recruiting question or anything else, now would be a good time to give us a ring. We'll be back right after this.